How can two people see the exact same accident and give two different stories? Right? They're called to a courtroom, they're witnesses. One individual describes what they've seen, the other individual comes to the stand and describes something totally different. Today we're going to talk about how the gospel can be received in two different ways. To some, it is life, and to others, it is death.
That's right. I'm Shauna, this is Pete, and we're with Call You Family Discipleship. We're licensed ministers with the Church of God, and we take to social media and just share with everybody how we disciple our family. And today we are going to discuss with you 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 15 and 16. We've already been going through the scripture, and this is where we're at today. This is our 6th video of the week. So I'm going to read the scripture from the NIV, and then we'll begin our discussion. It says, "For we are to God the pleasing aroma of Christ among those who are being saved and those who are perishing. To the one we are an aroma that brings death, to the other an aroma that brings life. And who is equal to such a task?"
So the Apostle Paul here says that the gospel message, that's what he's talking about. That when they go to a town and they start to preach the gospel message, to some people, it is a pleasant smell. They want it. It's like a great perfume, and they're like, wow, that's great. I love being around it. Then to other individuals, they say it's like the stench of death. They're repulsed by it, and they say, I don't want this in my life.
That's right. And remember the story that Pete talked about yesterday, where there was a lady who actually enjoys the smell of pulp or mulch because it reminds her of home. But to me or to Pete, that's a smell that we would rather not smell.
Right.
It's two different perspectives of two different situations and circumstances in life that bring two different opinions.
So it's kind of like the political system. We talked about this when we did this in our home study, was that, let's just say there's an overthrow of a government. If you're friendly to that government, then the new regime coming in to you is going to be something that you reject.
Right.
But if you were repressed or afflicted by the government that was overthrown, then you're probably looking forward to the new regime.
Right.
Right? So here in political terms, in November, we're going to have an election.
Yeah.
A Republican is going to win or a Democrat is going to win.
Right.
And half the country is going to be happy and the other half is going to be repulsed and be angry, right?
Right.
And fight.
It's the
argue.
same event, but
Yes.
it's two different perspectives.
Exactly.
Because it's the way that you look at something or the side that you may be on. So we have to understand that the gospel message actually can be perceived two different ways. It can be perceived as life, and it can be perceived as death. We want to emphasize that the gospel message of Jesus Christ is always life. It is
That's
the
exactly
greatest love story ever told. It will always bring life. It will always bring life when you accept that and receive that.
But there is individuals in this world who are repulsed by the gospel message.
Yeah.
And they never accept it, and they turn a blind eye to it, and they go away from it, and they stray from it. And eventually what it does, it ends up leading them to the path of death. And that death is eternity separated from God in hell. And that's something we don't want anyone to partake in.
That's right. I know individuals who are struggling with what they believe, whether they don't believe in God at all or whether they are someone who practices a different religion, and they are very stubborn to receive anything about Jesus, about the gospel of Jesus Christ. So those people are approached with much prayer and fasting, and always loving them with truth and loving them with the love that God has given us.
Exactly. So as we close this video today, we want to ask you, what does the gospel message mean to you?
Right.
Is it a sweet smelling aroma, like a beautiful perfume that you love to smell? Or is it stench to you? Do you repulse by it? Do you say, I don't want this in my life?
Right, and like we said, the gospel should always be presented as the greatest love story ever told. It brings about life, and it brings grace and mercy. So today, as we close, we just want to remind you to live intentionally for Christ. We want to remind you that every day we should get up, make an effort to exalt God, to encounter God, to edify ourselves with the reading of the Word, and to engage the world. This message today is about engaging the world and giving the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Exactly. So going forward, read the Bible every day, study it, discuss it with other people.
Yeah.
And until next time, God bless.
God bless you.